We just watched the 1994 Double Dragon. We're gonna do a retro review. We got our gaming channel, and we're doing video game movies right now. So and our first movie was Double Dragon. We painfully sat through that whole movie and watched it, and now we're gonna give you this review. So, Brother James, what you think about that 1994 movie Double Dragon, based off the 1987 video game, which was very popular at the time?
Yes. I do have to say, this movie has to be commended for its great use of form and no. How did this movie ever rap? I don't even understand it.
I think at some point they said, "Hey, just go with it." Like every time something went wrong, or every time, just go with it. Mama just waste their coffee. Just go with it.
Like, you could see people reading their lines, and then it's like, did I really just say that on camera?
Man,
is that on tape now? Can we lose that? No, it's in the movie now.
All right, so let me give a little history, just a little history on. This was a 1987 arcade game. Do they call these kind of games beat 'em up games, or what they call them, beat 'em ups?
Beat 'em ups.
Okay, it's a beat 'em up, and those games kind of consist of you on a you are at the beginning of a level, and you have to work your way to the end of the level by beating every opponent that comes to you. It's not like fighting games where it's one-on-one, two-player games. You fight each other.
Yeah, this would be more like the original Street Fighter or Streets of Rage.
Right, but no, what the original Street Fighter was like a fighting game, but it was only one player. Yeah. Like you just had people to fight. This is, you walk down the street, people come, you beat them up, you move to the next person.
I feel like the original Street Fighter, before it became a fighting game, had that side-scrolling beat 'em up.
But it was like a mix, because I just recently kind of checked it out, and you gotta you fight one person. It's like it worked. It had a storyline. So your main character go to this one part, they fight somebody, and they go to somebody else, they fight somebody, they go somewhere else. Which your main character was Ryu, and that was Street Fighter. But this is Double Dragon. This is not the original. I mean, it was stuff before this, but this was one of the most popular, I believe. I remember playing it a lot, and I remember when you start off playing they hit the girl in the stomach and they carry her away, but they show the little penny shot.
Yeah. Because of reasons.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stood out to me, when I was a kid looking at that. Wow. Anyway,
if memory serves, when you beat the game, like they just end up fighting each other.
I don't remember.
Or am I thinking of something else?
It could be. I really don't remember the end of the game or the last boss. I just remember playing it, but back in the day, you didn't have those games on the home system,
right?
So I wasn't gonna waste that much money in the arcade by trying to beat it.
Like Final Fight, but
yeah, Final Fight came a little later. That was a little better than that one.
Yeah, but anyways, so from a classic cabinet game to a feature film,
which have been done before. This is not the first one. Okay, since they gained popularity, martial arts was a focal point on this game. They decided to make this movie, and this movie is starring Mark Dacascos as Jimmy Lee, and Scott Wolf as Billy Lee. And one dude wear blue, other dude wear red. That's the only way you know them apart in the game.
Yeah,
I think one guy got blonde hair, one guy got brown hair. I think. And now this was made in 1994, and this went straight to DVD, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I cannot see this going to the movie theater. I think this went straight to DVD, and it looked like the budget of it. And at this time, I'm sorry, VHS. At this time, straight to VHS movies were real popular, because it was at one point they made movies to go to the theater, and then they at one point between like the late 80s and the early 90s, they said they realized okay, we can make real low budget movies and go straight to the video store and make a lot of money back on that.
And I think that's something that was lost for a while there when streaming first became a thing, because they weren't making original content for streaming back then.
Right.
But also, since video stores was dying off, folks stopped making what they call them home releases.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's been cool seeing that stuff come back. You know, on the streaming, but like they could pump out like a bunch of $50,000 movies.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, and there's some gems in that. Where you go to the video store, especially like if you look for something to do every weekend, you go to the video store, and if you like action, and there was a ton of action movies, you always had some new action movies to pick from, so this is kind of in that cloth. Yeah. And so what they took, they went on ahead and grabbed one of the martial arts stars that be in a lot of those movies. And that's Mark Dacascos. Mark Dacascos. I'm a fan of his from other movies. He's not the best actor, but he always do well with what he do. And
he's one of those guys that like acts in martial arts movies that's actually a brilliant martial artist.
Yeah.
So when he does his moves, when they're not overselling it, wing to the camera and backflip. Yeah. He brings a sense of sincerity, some genuine like skill to a production.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many movie credits he got, but I know it's probably over 100. But but that made me want to see this movie more, because I mean, by the time '94 came out, by the time in '94, I was like, man, I don't want to see no Double Dragon movie. But when I saw Mark Dacascos, I was like, okay, that's my boy. I used to like that game. Let's see what they got.
He's gonna be in John Wick Chapter 3.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's still working. He like 50-something. He looked like about the same as he was when he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
So
he completely stopped aging.
That's the martial arts.
Shit, that he got some blacking.
And you know what? And I never knew what actually nationality is. I think he's half something and half something
like
else.
Greek, Filipino, and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. He played everything. He played Japanese, Chinese, Hawaiian. He played everything.
Everything. I'm pretty sure he's played Native American.
Yeah, I think he played Native American too. So I'm not sure exactly what his nationality is, but he's a good martial artist. And some of his fighting can save the movie, but let's talk about the beginning half.
Okay.
Man. You talking about camp. Straight camp. And the thing is, and I asked you this while we were watching it, do you think a lot of the comedy is, it is intentional, but do you think because of them knowing that it was going to be so bad, are you excusing how bad it is?
Not really. I get the feeling that like some of this stuff they didn't mean to do, but when they did, it's like, let's just go with it. What did you think this picture was going to be? And so I think for this genre of movie, what brings this genre down so often is to them it's like, we're making a video game movie. This does not have to be art,
right? But it seemed like it seemed like it was so bad that it was done on purpose. So like when they turned one of the antagonists into a monster, right? A Bobo. When they turn him into a monster, it looks like the fakest shit you ever want to see.
Like just so much rubber prosthetics.
I know, and it's the point where it's like, okay, we know this ridiculous, so we're gonna give you the fakest looking monster. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, they're not taking it serious. At first I thought they was taking it serious. Now it's like, okay, now they're not taking it serious. But sometimes it seems like they do.
I mean, the juxtaposition of it is really weird to work with, because it's like all the voiceover work is like, no, this is some serious shit. This is fate of the world, and then you have Bobo, ugly, homely,
man. Okay.
Oh God, man.
All right, and then we got the one-liners, like ridiculous one-liners, man. What a head case.
Like, even stopping during like moments where it's like, okay, everything we love could be destroyed at any given second. We need to go now. Oh, by the way, what a head case.
Yeah, dude, who was worse? The guy who played Scott Wolf. He's more of a comedic actor, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's his bit, but like the timing on all of his one-liners is wrong.
Man, the writing, dude.
Like, because the writing was bad, but like if his timing was better, they could have saved it. I feel like that might be more on a director than the actor, because like the director's job.
But he got to deliver the lines.
True.
And so if they wrote him to say all the one-liners, how can he make it better? Yeah, I'm asking you that because I'm thinking like if you give me that material, I don't know what the fuck I could do with it. I mean, I'm not a comedian.
True.
But
like,
even
for like what a head case.
That was his one. Though he had so many one-liners that was so bad.
Yeah.
So if they told you got to say all these one-liners, how can you make it better?
You can't.
You know what I'm saying? So
especially like when you have Mark Dacascos as your straight man,
right?
You know, he's not going to help you.
Right. He's comedy ain't his forte. And how many scenes of them screaming they had?
enough to make 3 of these movies. Like just how many screaming scenes were there in this whole? Like you have the kid on the VR screaming. He's in his bed screaming because the VR is doing the roller coaster bit. You have them taking a little minecart down a small slope. Screams. Yeah. Like everybody in this movie had to have a sore throat by the end.
And let's talk about what about the gags?
Oh
shit. The gumball machine and it's bad, man. Everything bad. Oh, and then now what's the name of
Alyssa Milano?
She's looking fine. I ain't gonna lie, she was looking fine as hell, man.
She can't help that.
I mean, she could do better than this movie, but she made something of it.
I will say that's one thing. This movie was beneath her.
But she made something of it just by wearing those clothes. So I'm looking like, okay, you do look good. And the ass shot gag, it's like, why put that in there? The director specifically close up on her ass. Like, she's like, let me pick this up. And the director specifically made sure he close up on her ass, and they look at her. Oh, stop looking at her ass.
And then have
they did that twice.
Exactly. Twice they put this in here
for no reason.
And both times it was just huh. It's like, okay, bro, sure. Fine.
There's no way you could get away with that now and say this is comedy.
No. Like for one thing, quality control won't allow it, and for another, this is
I mean, you could do it. But you're going to get a lot of shit for it. I'm going to tell you that right now.
It won't work again.
I mean, you had no good reason. But then they had a good reason. Well, I'm going to give them a good reason. She looked good in them pants. And maybe she was like, I don't think she probably said, show me it. But she probably like, I don't care. I don't want people to see what I got or whatever, or what I'm working with. But it came out of nowhere.
Even for her to like agree to that shot feels weird.
Yeah,
she does not like her specifically. She doesn't strike me as a type like that's off brand for her. But back in the day,
the director clearly did it. I mean, he clearly told her to bend over right now, bend over so we can get this shot.
Like no, don't bend your knees.
Where you see when she picked up there, she did. She picked up something. She just like bend clean over it. Yeah. It's bad, man. Blatant sexism. I mean, sexism. Blatant
misogyny.
Yeah, misogyny.
But like, it's one of many choices in this movie that begs the question of why.
Yeah, it is. So, and then the movie, the first half was so bad it was actually real funny. We sat here and we laughed a lot through that, and then from the middle on to the end, it was hard to finish.
Like
it became hard to finish because the movie was just turned into. They tried to give a story instead of they dropped some of the camp and started trying to go story, and it got bad. It got real bad. Movie like this, you got to keep it going. You know, I mean that's where I feel because
like even the exposition was so grating.
Yeah, I mean the story shit. and the characters and shit. And if you got that, you was doing good by just saying fuck it, go balls to wall. But then when you slow down, the movie slowed down.
Like, and what makes it so bad is like you have some halfway decent actors delivering shitty lines.
Yeah,
and there's no way to fix it. Like, your father lacked vision too. That's why I killed him.
What? You killed my father? Like, yeah, he was weak.
Like, he killed our dad. Wait, look, that's why I killed your father. What?
No emotion.
Like, I don't even think he was. I don't even think old boy was responding to the line. I don't think that was in the script. What are you doing?
He's like, what? That wasn't a line. Just go with it. Even man, it was times. Alyssa Milano delivered a line, and she totally had the wrong expression for what she was trying to say. When she did them looking like they are not taking this shit serious at all, dude.
I mean, and I can see why.
I know.
It's so hard to take this. Like, I can't even imagine trying to keep a straight face making this movie.
Yeah, you're right. I think she actually laughed. Hearing the line that she just, you know what I'm saying? She's heard herself for a second. She kind of like laughed.
She had
and they left it in the movie.
Yeah,
it was a serious moment.
She had to she had to torture a guy by force feeding him spinach.
Yeah.
That was a thing. How the hell was that a thing? Whose idea was that? And can I shoot them?
And in the ending, man, when you got your regular ending, we beat them up. We found out we got the power and we beat the bad guy up. Let's wrap this up and go home. No, they kept it going with another gag. It was cringeworthy, man, how they kept going with that movie.
Like, in the final gag is especially like, I forget about it until I get to it, and then it always makes me cringe preemptively. Because, for one thing, it's a gag that does not make immediate sense.
Yeah. I mean, because the tone, you change the tone. At that point, it's time to wrap the movie up, and you jump into a 3-minute gag that's way out of place. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That adds nothing to the story.
Nothing. And then I get the feeling them patting themselves on the back. Well, so how did we do? You got your Double Dragon movie, guys.
Now let's talk about what's before we wrap this up. Let's talk about what in the movie related to the game. We had two characters, Billy and Jimmy Lee, that same name. One dude wear red, one dude wear blue.
Yep.
Is there anything else?
We got to see some of the enemies get.
Okay, Bobu was directly from the game. Mm-hmm. The girl with the whip, they had her.
Trying to think,
it was a couple things that I saw.
Did the tower come from the game? I don't remember.
I don't know. He could have though. He could have.
It seems like the kind of thing, like an '80s video game villain,
Probably. So I mean, it wasn't much there. I'll tell you another thing. It was a cartoon that came out in the early '90s, and I think they took some of that from the cartoon.
Because the cartoon used the Dragon Wagon, which came off of
They did?
Yeah, briefly. Like, it wasn't a big deal. It was like, you got to see it.
I just remember that they had the medallion. That was from the cartoon. And they put the medallion together, and then they had these
outfits.
Right. And they kind of took, except they had masks on, but
this go ninja.
Yeah. So they kind of took the outfits and the Shadow Master, all that was from the cartoon. So they borrowed a lot from the game and the cartoon.
But like, I think originally the Dragon Wagon was just something that was on the side of the cabinet.
No, like, Dragon Wagon?
Yeah.
No, fuck no. You talking about on the game?
Yeah.
No.
Like
dude. The Dragon Wagon that didn't come nothing from shit.
Someone told me like on some of the old cabinets, like that was a thing that was on them.
I have to go back and look. Somebody can write comments. It is. I think that Dragon Wagon is.
This isn't coming from me. This is some third-hand information I got.
Okay. I think the Dragon Wagon was all original. I think. Dragon Wagon is a fucking station wagon with pipes on it they got flames shooting out the back.
And then at the end they painted a fire dragon on it.
Yeah, man. Let's wrap this up, man. I'm gonna tell you what. This movie is so fucking bad. I'm a little mad because I remember it being so bad that it was good, but it was only so bad it was good halfway through.
And then it was just so bad it was bad.
Yeah, man, because from like the first act, like the first 30 minutes or so, it had me rolling. We were just laughing the whole time trying to watch this shit. It was so bad. Then they tried to get serious, and the end just failed miserably, man. I'm a little mad.
Watching this movie descend from like a very low eye to deep into hot garbage territory.
Yeah, so let me give my rating. Okay, like I was saying, this movie knew what it was, and it started off with a lot of camp, and it gave you that camp, which was so funny. And it didn't take itself serious at all, where you could have just enjoyed the ride and just laugh at how bad it is. And it's something to be said about a movie that knows what it is. This movie knew what it was for a third of it, and then tried to be something else the rest of the way through, and everything just fell super flat. And I found myself only enjoying about 30 to 40 minutes of it. The rest of it, I couldn't wait for it to get over. So it's, make no mistake, it's a hot garbage, and I probably was gonna give it some sweet hot garbage, saying that it was so bad it's good. But now, because of the second and third act falling so flat, it's just a plain old hot garbage.
I mean, dude, like there's no saving this movie. Like, matter of fact, save the folks in the movie from the movie. That's all you can do. You know, I don't know how anyone managed to keep a career after this movie. It's just straight up hot garbage, and there is no forgiving this.
Yeah,
unforgivable.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. We knew we was getting into though, but I mean, damn, I was expecting to be more entertained all the way through, and I was thoroughly entertained by the third of it though.
Yeah. First, like, honestly, if y'all want to see this movie, just stop after the first act.
Yeah, or skip around, because I remember skipping around when I saw it, and I was like, oh, this shit is funny as shit. It's so bad it's good. But I didn't never really just sit through it and watch it like that. Yeah. And that's where the problem came, because now we sat through it and watched it like, whoa.
Shit, you ain't lying, man.
All right, so that's our review on Double Dragon, 1994's Double Dragon. All right, so we're going to move on. We got some trailers. We're going to jump into, man. We missed